Hello and welcome to the No Ceilings podcast on the Turtlesmith network. And I've got Calvin.
Hey, what's good, y'all? I know y'all been seeing me pop up all kind of random spots all over there. It's like I'm trying to get my guest stars in. I'm trying to build my portfolio.
That's it. And we come in twinning today, with the gray.
Hey, great minds think alike.
I was gonna say the same deck.
See, there you go,
man. Twinning. That's what y'all used to think anyway.
You know what it is, though? I'm trying to try out some new outfit combinations and stuff for the golf course.
Okay.
Because Turtlesmith, we did just lock in a golf tournament that we're going to be doing next year.
Okay.
On the, don't give me the line, 27th of April, I want to say, 2026 at Rose Creek Golf Course. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's a private club, and I never really get to go. So
that's by my house.
But yeah, it's right down the street.
Yeah,
but I won't get to play golf there. I'll be working the event, but still, I just get out there and hit a few balls.
I do my fair share of golfing at Topgolf.
That is not golfing.
It's fun though.
It is not golfing.
Hey, I got a picture of some scores. I'll tell you who won.
Man, have you been seeing? So it's funny you say that. I just watched a video earlier today explaining why Topgolf is kind of going through some troubles right now.
Okay.
And I wasn't aware until I watched this video. And it was when I'm thinking about it, it was a great business idea, but I think it was the wrong timing. Mm-hmm. Callaway Golf, who is one of the biggest manufacturers of golf equipment, balls, one of the biggest sponsors. But Callaway Golf looked at Topgolf's model and figured it was one of the best ways that they could find an activity that would streamline more people into being golfers. Mm-hmm. And so they figured that, hey, if we get our name on this, we get our brand on this, we go ahead and buy the company, that, people who are showing up and playing the Topgolf would eventually convert into regular golf course players. Mm-hmm. And then we're already primed and set there with our name and stuff, all that. Problem is COVID hit. And they had this rapid expansion model that was geared towards, amping up, just golf in general.
Yeah.
And then the whole world shut down. So it was a great business idea, just the worst timing.
Terrible timing.
However,
there are some great opportunities for minorities in golf, right now for kids in golf. So,
I can see that.
I'd had a few conversations with some people, and they were just saying, I was trying to figure out what to put, my kid in, my baby girl in, and they were like, try golf. And so if that's, that's an opportunity, I'm going to try golf. I'm going to try soccer. But I just thought about it, and I was like, ooh, golf, she might like that, because she does like the idea of, playing at Topgolf, and I know it's not the same.
It is so individually rewarding, depending on the mind frame that you have, right? One of my favorite things is I just like going to the driving range a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'll go play rounds and stuff quite often, but I just really love going to the driving range. As a matter of fact, I might go there after we leave here. Mm-hmm. But because I go get a bucket of balls, and I don't know if you've ever tried to hit a golf ball. Mm-mm. But it is almost, when you first starting off, it's almost impossible to repeat the hitting of the golf balls, right? It's almost impossible to do. You hit one good shot, and then you think you're going to line right up and do that thing all over again, and then that thing is way over on the highway somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's the reason I say it's so rewarding is because when you work at it over and over and over again, it's those little things. Like if I can hit 3 shots in a row to the same spot, that is, oh my God, I'm really, really happy at the work that I've been putting in. And I can see just on every bad shot that I hit, making those little tweaks or those little, I did this wrong or whatever, and then going at it again and getting the desired result. It's instant feedback.
I guess that's the reason why Topgolf is not really the same, because you can really see where the ball goes, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if you're on a range, you could probably see it a little bit better.
It's real funny sometimes when because I just think about like when you get a bunch of balls out there in the range and there's just they're everywhere out there. And then
Pause.
I try to start hitting. I know, right? I try to start hitting a specific little cluster. Right, it almost like makes extra targets out there when you really want to try to target it in. So, I'm getting to the point now where I'm consistently shooting under 100, which is a good thing if you're a regular just duffer golfer.
Okay.
But I'm sure people don't want to hear about golf.
Well, true that. But I'm gonna see what Kylie likes. She's lefty, so.
Lefties are interesting. Lefty clubs are a lot easier to find, like good deals and stuff on. Matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can find this one guy. This one guy that lives not too far from, I don't think too far from you. It's just up the road a few miles. But I pulled up to his place one time. I found him on like Craigslist or something and pulled up to this guy's property. And he opens up this big shed that he's got, like big work shed. And the whole thing, it's full of golf clubs.
Okay.
And he just, he sells them for, a couple of dollars here and there. He's not trying to make a whole bunch of money, but he just gets hundreds, maybe thousands of golf clubs. It has all the stuff. It's just like walking into like a used golf store. And so I bring that up because when I was trying to get the boys into it, both Clay and Juan are lefties.
Okay.
And I had to go to him and find some, and I found like a whole bag of left-handed clubs for kids. He sold them to me for like $10.
That's what's up.
Yeah, the whole bag plus the clubs, everything. So I was like, that's pretty dope. And there were some good clubs too.
So, okay. Well, I need to know his information because I definitely need to get those because if she decides to quit, I don't feel so bad.
No harm, no foul.
Yep. All right. So what are we talking about today?
So today I wanted to talk about some myths.
Okay.
Do a little bit of myth busting. There are some things that I think mentally stall a lot of people when it comes to trying to start their own business.
Yeah.
And especially when you look at women and minorities specifically, then there are some things out there that, yes, while they may be intimidating on the surface, if you go back and you look at a lot of the stuff that we've already put out in our previous lessons, this is exactly what we do it for.
All right.
We do it because we want to increase the chances that your business succeeds. We want to increase the chances that you do the things that you weren't taught to do in order to make sure that your business lasts past those crucial, what they say, first 5 years most businesses fail.
Yep.
And so those years are really crucial for most businesses. And so here at Turtlesmith, that's literally our goal. That's what we've done this whole time. And so I wanted to pick today and pick out the top 5 myths for minorities and women in starting business, and we'll just go through a few of those. So,
okay.
First one is this is the myth. The myth is that hard work and education alone will close the wealth gap for minority entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And when you see it on the face there, that does look pretty discouraging to say, oh, well, it's a myth that I'm never going to be able to close the wage gap or whatever. Well, first and foremost, it is not on your shoulders solely to close the wealth gap for minorities. Okay, let's get out of that. And that's the reason why a lot of this is a myth. No, that you're not going to close the wealth gap for minority entrepreneurs by just hard work and education alone. There are a lot more factors that go into that. There is networking. There is, scalability. There is just the pure skill or the rarity of the skill of whatever it is that you may be doing.
And right now, networking is huge. And they have the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
Sometimes that deems true. You never know what rooms your name is being spoken in when you are networking with people.
True that.
We've talked about that a little bit too. So you want to make sure that, you've done the work. And then after you've done the work, you make sure that you're networking with people who may be able to speak your name in a room that gets eyes on you. So
true. But the other thing is, even if you take all of the things that would make you successful as an entrepreneur or in business and you max them out at 100 plus.
Yeah.
you are still not solely going to be responsible for closing the wealth gap.
At all.
The reason being is because that wealth gap is primarily driven by systemic inequalities. There's no way for whatever your business is or whatever your business acumen may, or wherever your business acumen may take you, that's going to revert a lot of that. Those are things that kind of come as a result of future or actions we take now being reverberated in the future. Right. But we're still going to feel the reverberations from the past before us. Absolutely. And so that's why I say, if you go into business thinking that I'm doing my part to close the wealth gap, that is a great attitude to have, but understand that it's not your responsibility to do so. And just hard work and education alone aren't going to get it there.
You're putting too much on yourself.
Put way too much on your shoulders, man.
Yeah.
Way too much on your shoulders. So, you want to take the next one here?
All right. Myth number 2, minority-owned banks can significantly close the funding gap for minority entrepreneurs. Well, fact, while valuable for community reinvestment, minority-owned banks control only a small fraction of assets compared to major financial institutions, making it unrealistic for them to close the systemic funding disparities alone.
That is right. I mean, it's spot on. It's kind of self-explanatory. Yeah. It kind of ties exactly back to point number 1 there.
Yeah.
That is just such a small portion of the overall system that it shouldn't be looked at as a way that it's not the second coming of Harriet Tubman coming to take us on the Underground Railroad to prosperity. That's just not how it works.
Right.
But if you look at it as an entrepreneur and understand that minority-owned banks are a great tool for you to get just the treatment you should be getting.
Correct.
That is one of the main things is in a lot of these examples, you'll find out that there is a lot of systemic stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you don't really realize.
Right.
And I've always said that, I'll put it like this, quick story time. When I was living up in Boise, it was a one and a half black-owned bars / clubs up there, right?
1.5. Okay.
1.5. But at this time, we were at the only black establishment there. Shout out to my man Jeff, JD and friends. And racist white dude comes around the corner. He'd been staying at the hotel right up the street. He had no idea that the place was what it was. He just stumbled into the one wrong place out of all the places you could have gone to on that strip. You walked into this one, right?
Yeah.
And he got into it. He wasn't causing a problem, but he got into it with somebody. The N-word starts flying. Right? Okay. They are about to murk this dude. He's about to get drug out, probably dropped on his face and kicked a couple times. And I got in the middle of it, mainly because I didn't want my home. I knew I'm watching the whole scene. I know how this goes down. I don't want the homies getting messed up behind this.
Right.
And so I actually got the dude, grabbed him, kind of pulled him back towards the back of the club, talked to him for a minute. The homies calmed down, this, that, and the other. And I sat there and had a beer with the dude.
Okay.
And the homies is looking at me like, what's wrong with you? I said, well, 1, I'm trying to keep you from catching the case, and I'm trying to keep him out of a ditch.
You was finna get beat up too.
But 2, I know, right? I'll finna get jumped. But 2, I've always said, and I've lived by the thing of, I would much rather have you show me your ignorance to my face, and I can identify it, than have your ignorance come in the form of me being all right on my paperwork. And just because you don't like the color of my skin, when you go behind that wall at the bank, you grab that stamp and says that my application is rejected.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Those are the things that you have to navigate and understand that they are aware or that they're out there, but you can't let that hold you back from going out and seeking these things. Minority-owned banks, like I said, they will give you the opportunity that you should have. That still doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want.
Jesus.
That's just what it is. So,
shout out to B. Simone.
Shout out to B. Simone.
Sorry.
Why you gotta do that?
Sorry, I just felt like it got real serious.
Why did
here.
You gotta do that?
Jesus.
They are taking that girl through the coals right now.
They are.
Man.
They are.
I don't feel bad for her, but I feel bad for her. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the thing when somebody get too cocky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you just know that the internet is waiting for their downfall, and they gonna tap dance as soon as they see it.
Jesus.
Yeah, she is. Ooh, man. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Next myth here. Entrepreneurship alone is the key to eliminating wealth disparities for women and minorities. Right. I've got some pushback here.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Entrepreneurship alone, the way that it's worded here, that's one thing. Of course, obviously, it's such an absolute. However, I believe when it comes to women and minorities as well, we talked a little bit right before we started recording about the difference between past generations to today's generations and what is required for a family to be able to function in the way that they always have been, right? At least here in the United States of America. And I really believe that entrepreneurship for women and minorities, but for women specifically, is going to be key to sustaining or to stabilizing the nuclear family.
I like that. Yeah.
It is the perfect blend of women having the freedom to still be a mother and focus on the emotional rearing of their children and and things like that, and be able to keep a close eye on it, but at the same time being able to have the agency and I would say the authority, or not even the authority, but just the agency to be able to get out there and establish themselves in the business place and be able to make that work for the best needs of them and their families.
Correct.
When you add this together with, the traditional nuclear kind of family, and it's a patchwork of what we've had to do before and what we're doing today. But I think that is an amazing tool for women these days to be able to find the best thing that works for them, to be able to still be there for their families, but then also contribute into the household in a way that alleviates stress and pressure. One of the biggest things that people get divorced over is what? Finances.
Yeah, finances, yeah. And there are so many women that are doing that.
Yes.
Right now. And, shout out to all the women that are, finding different ways to be entrepreneurs or start their entrepreneurial journey. So, it's happening. And the more that we get information out there to people who need this, the better entrepreneurs they'll become.
Facts.
So, all right. So number 4 is number 4, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Myth 4. Minority business owners lack the skills needed to succeed compared to their counterparts.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. There is no inherent difference in business acumen or drive, okay? Challenges stem from systemic barriers, barriers like limited access to crucial mentorship and equitable funding. Now, that's definitely it. Mm-hmm. And high-value professional networks. No individual skill deficiencies. And that's true. That is very true. We've talked about that in previous episodes and talked about how, it's hard to find, and I think Vincent may, disagree with me a little bit. We've talked about like gatekeeping, and how, in certain places information is being gatekept.
A lot of places.
And I believe that, you've got to get into the right circles with the right people in order to get access to that information. But it definitely has nothing to do with the lack of skills.
Facts. I look at one of my favorite statistics is because they always throw the crime statistics at the feet of black men in this country, that there's more black men in college than there is in prison.
Yeah.
Even though right now our college attendance levels as black men is at a historical low.
Yeah.
But why, and I'm not a proponent of college for just a continuing of education or anything like that. I am, however, a big proponent of college if you're using it with intent.
Correct.
Right?
I agree.
The number one reason that you should go to college, in my opinion, is if you are going into a career field where someone else's life is in your hands.
I agree.
Right? So if you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a surgeon, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be something that someone else's life or livelihood depends on you, then yeah, you need college for that, because you need the best education that you could possibly get to. However, the second best reason that I would give for people to go to college is for the social aspect.
Yeah.
It's for the networking. Join a fraternity or a sorority or something like that, because these networks are the things that are going to support you in numerous ways throughout your life, or even just an old college buddy that you stay in contact with. Because a lot of you meet each other through classes or majors that have similar interests, so you're probably going to be going into similar fields and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I will say there are so many people that don't get into fraternities or sororities, but that is not the only thing that you can do. There are so many networks and groups on campus that you can get into, and just getting into groups with people in your field.
Yep.
The same field that you're in, that's always great. I mean, I definitely did that. I didn't do a fraternity or a sorority.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm not a guy, so. But I didn't get into any groups. I really just kind of stuck with my core group of people that I was in courses with.
Yeah.
And then after that, the Alumni Association.
Facts,
So if you've missed your opportunity, join an alumni association. That's a great opportunity for you to just mix and mingle with people that you may have seen in passing previously. Because I don't want to just limit it to, people who are in college now. People who have already finished college, and you're trying to figure out what to do at this point. And so that's a great opportunity as well.
I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that we needed to pull something off for a video or something like that. It could have been something as simple as a location or a specific type of location or a vehicle or something like that we needed. And the person was just like, oh, hold on, let me call my old college buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a very common thing to have a network. And I'm just using the example of college because we're just talking about building of a network. Because that's one of the things that a lot of minority business owners do lack, that can not really hurt them, but not allow them to grow in the way that maybe they saw themselves being able to grow.
Right.
Is lack of a network, lack of some of those things.
And if you've another opportunity, if you've missed that opportunity and you need an opportunity, think about your chamber of commerce, your Black Chamber of Commerce. I was just about to say that. So that's a great place to go. They have so many different here in the city. They have so many different opportunities. So check that out in your city and see what that looks like, and see if you have.
You know what happened one time?
What?
So when I was in Oregon, I was working with Nectar, right?
Uh-huh.
And they got us involved with the local chamber of commerce in one of the little suburbs where we had a dispensary, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're like, yeah, we supposed to go over and have a little booth set up at this chamber of commerce event. Can you come over and help us out with it? So I'm like, bet, that's cool. And so we go, and first off, it's at a church. Second off, it's in a church in Oregon. These places are rarely used, okay? Wow. I'm not saying that Portland is godless, but I'm just saying that God don't make too many stops there.
Crazy.
Look, no offense, Portland. Y'all know what y'all doing, though. But anyway, and so we show up, and there's like all these different local businesses, and everybody's like, everything from construction to car lots and, all this and all that. And then they get to our table, it's like, well, what do y'all do? We sell weed.
In the church.
And we sell a lot of it, too. We are El Chapo. Here to do business.
Portland's El Chapo.
Last one, it would get...
Was the preacher there?
No, but the preacher at my wedding did hop out there on the bus.
They know what's up.
I got that effect on people for some reason. Everybody just, when they get around me, they just like, all right, cool.
Elevate your mind. Elevate your mind. Anyway.
But minority, this is my favorite myth on this. Minority-owned businesses underperform due to a lack of ambition or innovation.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. I don't know if, and I don't want to be stereotypical here, but I don't know if the average CEO of a Fortune 500 company is better at what he does than your local hustler. And I'm not talking about hustler as in drug hustler.
No.
I'm talking about the guys who can look at a piece of junk that you got and see dollars somewhere down the road. I don't know if we grew up with having people in our neighborhood that would walk the city picking up cans.
Yeah. For nickels.
For nickels. Okay? There is a certain amount. Now, I won't say that that's the case for everybody.
Right.
But I will say for most minorities, and especially minority women, there's nobody I've ever seen more driven on any given topic than a black woman. I'm sorry. There is not.
Yeah.
But when I see it in,
Hustle game strong.
it is.
Yeah. Determination.
Not only the hustle game, the innovation, the determination,
yes.
the organization.
All of that.
Is off the charts when it comes to black women. And so this is why this is my favorite myth up here. We don't underperform in business due to a lack of ambition or innovation. Look at the list of black inventors and what they've invented and how much of that stuff we still use predominantly in this world. We do not lack for innovation as well. Performance disparities are primarily due to restricted access to the things that help us expand and grow these things, like capital, those networks that we're talking about, market opportunities, because oftentimes we are before the market. Yeah. The market doesn't even know what to do with the things that we bring to it because they don't even exist.
Indeed.
And so until somebody else sees us get it popping, I take for prime example, TikTok.
Let me tell you something, because that's exactly what I was getting ready. I was getting ready to bring up Stormy, whatever her name is, Canva Beauty. Baby.
Made up half dances that you see people doing on TikTok.
Yeah, all of that. That lady for Canva Beauty, for 24, I think it was 24 hours. She made $1 million in 24 hours. I don't know. Can you pull that up?
Probably.
Type in Canva Beauty, and the girl's name is Stormy. I cannot think of what her last name is, but she made history on TikTok. And so aside from the dance, just being able to dance and find innovative ways to make money on all these different platforms, they're taking products that they're selling, beauty product. That's it. Type in.
So these are people that are reviewing her products.
Yes. Type in $1 million. Okay. $1 million TikTok.
Sorry, y'all. My fingers are old and slow. There we go. TikTok presence.
Let's see if we got a short. Whatever she did, $1 million TikTok live. Yes, Stormy Steele. That's her name. And
I've seen this product too. It's like
body butter.
But they have like the packaging always looks like a piece of food or something like that, like a sweet treat or some type of thing.
And so she has hair products, and so I have different hair types in my household, and so we all use different hair products, and so I use her products, and they are wonderful. But when she did that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is the girl that I buy this stuff from. And I didn't even know, really know who she was until I seen her face on a TV show that I watched, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Yeah. But she did this. I think this was right post-pandemic. She did this.
That's crazy. But that's a great example. We are always finding ways to get to the dollar, right? We do that a lot of times without having any type of formal education, mentorship, a guide, or even knowing where to look in order to get these things. We don't know what we don't know. We just know how to get to $1. And we, along that direction, come up with, we develop a lot of the business principles that you need, yes, but we also get to a point that we're changing the market.
Yeah.
We are influencing the market. African American culture specifically, is the most copied and exported culture in the world.
I'm glad that you said that. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And so once we figure out, once enough of us figure out how to monopolize that and pull it back out of the hands of people who only look to exploit it, and then we can have control over it, we can refine it, we can put it together in a better package. You better watch out for the people that are out there learning these things now. The people who are busting through these myths that we are going through and getting out of that mental lock of saying, there is no way for me. There is a way for you.
Yeah.
100% there is a way for you. And you just have to learn where to look. And so that's why I wanted to do this episode today. And I kind of had it in my back pocket, but one of the things is we've developed a way.
Yeah.
We've developed not only a step-by-step guide, but now we are currently in the process of going even further on that and developing a curriculum.
Yes.
A curriculum that you will be able to have access to right here in the same way that you have access to us talking to you today.
Yep.
And being able to look into specific things and learn the specific procedures for what you want to do, what you're into, what the resources are in your local area, not just in general.
Right.
So there is those things that are out there, and like I said, I wanted to do this myth busting episode to give people back just a little bit of confidence and let them know it's hard work ahead in order to get to where someone like Stormy Steele here is getting to. However, it is not. She didn't get to where she got to by getting to one point and saying, "This is too hard. I'm not going to do it."
Yeah.
I guarantee you that there's probably a dozen stories she could tell you of times that she could have quit. Or times that she could have stopped.
Absolutely.
Or times that if when it came down to something that she didn't know, that she would have just gave up. But there is an extra step that you can always take that will help you push through whatever wall is being placed in front of you.
Absolutely.
So
if you got $1, I can flip it.
You got $1, I can make it holler.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
I say I can make it holler.
Oh, okay.
The dollar holler. The dollar holler at another dollar to bring another dollar back.
I just try to make sure. If you got $1, I can flip it, and if you got $1, he can make it holler.
Holler at another dollar. Well, do you have anything on myths or any other? Well, let me ask you this before we get out of here.
Oh shit!
If knowing what you've learned in business and management through all the years of owning a business and managing, places that you managed, what would be the number one thing that you say, or what would be your number one thing that you would think is holding people back that is way easier than it looks, that it seems to be?
The fear of rejection.
I like that.
The fear of rejection. And I know that because at times that's me. And so you don't want to step into what you don't know because you don't want to put your foot out there. You don't want to put your hand on the stove and get burnt, So that's one of the biggest things. But just taking that leap. And I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to me.
Yeah.
Take that leap, step out on faith and just do it. The worst that somebody can say is no, and you go to the next person or the next thing. Or if you're in the digital realm and you're posting content and you're doing all of these things, if you're not getting any likes or clicks or shares, keep posting, keep putting that information out there because it's going to catch hold at some point. Yeah. And if it doesn't, then go back to the drawing board and reevaluate, but don't quit. Don't quit.
Excellent advice, and that is an excellent place, I think, for us to end off on.
All right.
We will see you again next time we see you, I guess. Make sure that you are following us on all socials, Turtlesmith OK. Make sure you are liking, sharing, subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if you want some resources, or if you're in the Oklahoma City area and you need some help with just a few different parts of your business, make sure you visit us at turtlesmith.com, where you can reach out to us, contact us. We can bring you in for a free consultation as well. So
I like that.
Yeah, please keep striving, keep going, and for every door that closes, another one opens.
Absolutely.
And so just find a way to get through it.
All right. Take care.
Later, y'all.